Hey guys, Shan here, and welcome to the In-Depth Status Guides. For this video, I will cover everything you need to know about status interface and how to allocate your status efficiently. This video will be break down into the following. To access the status interface, click on the character interface which is located in the bottom screen between the floor, look, and talent skill tree UI. On the left within the character interface, you will find the status interface and attribute interface. Player gain 5 status points per level with the extension of level 1. There are 4 different status available at the moment, which include strength, dexterity, vitality, and spirituality. Each status applies different bonuses while influencing a certain title property like resistance, accuracy, and defense variation. Strength status influence physical melee damage and eye resistance. Dexterity status influence physical range damage, attack rating, defense rating, and lightning resistance. Vitality status influence hit point and poison recovery. And lastly, spirituality influence force and fire resistance. Keep in mind that 4 status is scaled differently based on the main weapon like scepter and 2-hand stab weapon. The most important status within the character category is vitality. Unlike any other Diablo clone, dungeon grinder, or action RPG, Heretic God take a huge influence on Diablo classic system. In addition to that, having high HP will also prevent your characters getting melted by Thorn Aura or poison damage. Speaking of poison damage, poison recovery is different compared to many other resistance. Fire, ice, and lightning resistance reduce incoming and total damage, while poison recovery reduces the time frame that poison damage duration takes place. For example, let's say Pest Lord deal 100 poison damage for 10 seconds, which add up to 1000 damage in totals. Having 80% poison recovery will only cut down the overall durations by 80%. Now multiply the remainder duration by 100, which is 200 poison damage in totals. So to make it short, vitality is the most valuable status in Heretic God. I know a lot of people have been questioning about the status reset options, which is the main thing for players to test out and try out different build. However, player will receive status resets for most game update, and unfortunately this is the only way to reset status at the moment. You also have to keep in mind that the game is still in early access, so there will be changes in the futures. In addition to that, I do recommend player to use status and talent skill tree simulator before investing their status or skill point into their characters. You can find the simulator in the video description below, so feel free to check it out. Alright, moving on. Before we go any further, here's the rule of thumb that will help you when it comes to status distributions. The first one is always save status point upon level up. This way you can allocate your status as you need it for most equipment. The second rule is always consider gear optimization that will benefit your characters in the long run, which include gear that offer the best attribute bonuses and low status requirement. The third rule is always keep your eye out for low status equipment with decent durability. Although having low status equipment might be the best for status distributions, but it comes with a huge risk due to low durability. Keep in mind that equipment will be destroyed when it reaches below 0 durability and there is no way to recover it. And lastly, adjust your investments based on the talent skill tree. I will cover this part in the early game sections. Moving on. So what is the best way to allocate your status point for early, mid, and late game? For early game sections, there are several things you need to consider before investing your status point, which include talent skill tree, skill build synergies, and equipment. In addition to the skill build synergy, I highly recommend checking out the showcase videos for theory craftings and build research. Starting off with the talent skill tree, each class skill tree offers different mechanics and bonuses upon investment. Crusader is a melee tank class that's capable of enduring any incoming attacks while destroying their enemies with powerful strikes. If you're interested in becoming a Crusader, their main status investments include strength and vitality. Make sure to invest enough strength status to equip Crusader main weapons. The highest strength requirement could go up to 145 strength or more. Hunter is a ranged class that specializes in long distance attack with magical enchantment. Many of their attacks include inevitable damage and wide range explosions. Recommended status for Hunter include dexterity and vitality. Unlike Crusaders, Hunter have the option to use both or two-handed spear weapons, so their main status build could revolve around strength as well. I highly recommend investing status point up to 41 strengths or as low as possible, and save the rest of the status for dexterity so you can equip the main weapon. The rest of the status should go into vitality for higher survivability. Exorcist is a hybrid caster with a powerful debuff ability and deadly poison attack, while Magus is a magic caster who specializes in fire, ice, and lightning elements. Both classes utilize Vitality and Spirituality status. However, there is a catch to this one. Vitality build revolve around life regenerations, while Spirituality builds utilize Force Shields as a second defensive layer. You don't have to invest a lot of Spirit status other than the requirement to equip the Scepter or two-handed staff for a Vitality build. However, you do have to invest a minimum of 100 Vitality or 1500 HP for Spirituality builds. The main reason being is that Force Shield ability do not absorb 100% damage, so there is a possibility that your character will die even before the Force Shield run out. Upon reaching mid-game, which is Purgatory mode, this is where you will invest 50% of your status into Vitality. It also depending on your build as well. The main reason behind this strategy is that monsters like Pestilence and Pestlord is capable of melting down your HP within 1 or 2 attacks. Their DPS can be measured up to 300 or 500 damage in total. As I mentioned earlier, poison recovery resistant property doesn't reduce poison damage, but rather reducing the time duration itself. By the time you reach late game, which is Inferno mode, this is where you will use all your knowledge that you have learned from the beginning all the way to the end. However, my best advice is that keep your HP and resistance as high as possible because each difficulty has its own resistance penalty. Normal mode doesn't have any penalty while increasing 50% all resistant. Purgatory mode reduces 35% all resistance while Inferno mode reduces 85% all resistance. In addition to late game, I highly recommend that you farm enough gear from Purgatory mode before entering Inferno mode. Also, make sure to mix up elemental damage within your skill builds since most monsters are immune to certain type of attacks in Inferno mode. Alright folks, moving down to the secondary attributes. First up, we have attack ratings and defense rating. Attack rating is character accuracy, while defense rating influences player ability to dodge or avoid enemy's attack. These two status are very similar to classic Diablo attack rating and defense rating mechanic. For more information about the AT formula, you can find it from Heretic official forums and Discord, so I highly recommend checking it out. Then go with the DPS formula as well. Breaking down into attribute interface, there are melee attack, ranged attack, cast attack, and mixed attributes. Before we go any further, keep in mind that equipment attributes are scale based on equipment type. For example, you will not receive elemental damage from melee weapon for ranged attack. This is considered local attributes. However, equipment like relic, amulet, ring, and armor base will grant you elemental damage upon equip. This is considered gobble status. Starting off with secondary attributes for melee and ranged attacks. There are elemental damage, bleeding chance, critical damage, stun chance, knockback, and life leech. Elemental damage is consists of fire, ice, lightning, and poisons. These are flat damage and can be reduced or ignored based on the enemy resistance. Bleeding chance is consists of DOT physical damage. The damage is varies and scale based on the skill effect. Critical chance allow player deal double damage. However, increasing critical damage will allow player to break the DPS limit through critical chance. Keep in mind that critical damage doesn't affect elemental damage. Stun chance will allow player to stun enemy for a short period of time, which is very useful against bosses like Azirs who does an insane amount of ranged damage. Knockback chance will allow players to push enemy away from their characters for a short distance. And finally, light attributes allow player to restore HP upon successful attack. This attribute will be ignored if the enemy is immune to bleeding effect. Next, we have cast attack. There are many secondary attributes that is important to cast attack other than the force status itself. So far, Pheronomy is the only exhaustive skill that is affected by cast attack attributes. However, I will cover this category in the future video if there's any changes. Onto the miscellaneous attributes. We have walk speed, life regenerations, hit recovery, reduce cooldown, identify cooldowns, trade price reductions, magic find, gold find, damage reflections, damage reductions, defense reductions, and attack rating reductions. Walk speed increase overall character movement speed. This is very valuable attributes for hunter and caster builds. Life regeneration increase overall survivability by regenerating your HP while you're in combat or off combat. 500 is the current cap of life regeneration at the moment. Hit recovery works like Diablo hit recovery system, allowing a player to recover their frames while being attacked. Unfortunately, there is no use for this attribute at the moment. Reduced cooldown attributes reduce overall ability cooldown. The higher the cooldown reduction, the better. 50% is the current cap at the moment for the reduced cooldown. Identify cooldown attributes allow player to identify any unidentified items that they found from the dungeons. Player can also talk to premium NPCs to identify items at the cost of gold. Trader price deductions reduce overall cost of an item. This attribute is very useful for gambling. You can find more information from my Revisit Gambling System videos. The link will be available in the video description below, so feel free to check it out. Magic Find attributes increase your chance to find better item quality. 5% is the current cap for Magic Find. Meanwhile, Gold Find attributes increase overall golds that you find for the dungeons. 10% is the current cap for Gold Find at the moment. Damage Reflection attributes reflect all incoming damage. Access for DOT damage like poisons. Damage Reduction will reduce all incoming damage. Access for elemental damage. Defense Reduction attributes reduce enemy overall defense, which allow player to hit enemies more often. Attack Rating Reduction attributes will reduce enemy accuracies, which allow player to avoid the attack more often. Alright folks, that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all find this video useful when it comes to status, interface, and distributions. In addition, Heretic got Discord just hit over 3,000 members, which is another huge milestone for the past 3 months. I also want to welcome all the new players who recently joined the Heretic got Discord. I know a lot of people is either shy or new to the community, but I'm always online, so feel free to bother me as much as possible if you have any questions related to the game. The next video will be a beginner guide to help all the new players to learn more about the game. This is Sanojin once again, and I will see you all next time. Laters!